What is going on, guys? Decoration Dude here, and today I have a very cool video. This is on a Gemmy Leatherface. Now this one in particular is not mine, Leatherface. I did have this in my possession for a little bit, but it now belongs to my friend Zach, and he is here as well. But on a side note, you may hear some noises in the background. That's just a pinball machine in the background. But Leatherface here, it's kind of a unique story how I got him. Scrolling through Facebook, and I just so happened to see a post in Montana of one of those like huge monster costumes from Spirit Halloween in 2006 and like I think maybe 7. And in the background of that post, I saw the very tip of his chainsaw, and so I messaged them immediately. I'm like, hey, is that Leatherface for sale? And they said, it is actually for sale, but I have someone that's already interested in it. I was like, darn. So I didn't hear from them for like maybe like a month. And a month after I initially messaged them, they got back in contact with me, and they said, hey, that deal I was working out with that one person ended up falling through. Leatherface is now available. I'm like, oh great, would you ship? And they're like, well, actually, that person that was gonna buy it before wanted me to ship it to him, and I wasn't able to find a box big enough for it. I'm like, well, here's the thing. I've had a lot of experience with shipping. I know I can point you in the right direction to get the right size box, packing material, and I can even make the label, so it's really easy for you. And so I eventually talked them into shipping it to me. And I was really scared that, you know, this was never gonna show up, or it was gonna show up super damaged, because you know how what happens to these things in shipping. And it did show up, surprisingly, and the person was very honest, and they did what they said they were gonna do. And you know, this came from Montana, so it took like a week in shipping. I was just so terrified that it was gonna get completely destroyed. And you know, speaking of it being in Montana, I don't really know how many of these Leatherfaces ever ended up in Montana, because there probably wasn't many Spirit Halloweens in Montana in 2006. Probably not many at all. But here he is, he made it, and he definitely needed a little bit of work, not nearly as much work as my original Leatherface. I will try to include a picture of what he looked like before, but he did have heat damage on his head. His head was kind of like squished in, and I reformed his head. His chainsaw blade was snapped. That must have fallen at some point, so I fixed up his chainsaw. And he had some wires off. He had, I think, a total of 3 wires off, 2 of them off for the motor for the blade, 1 of them off like right here in the handle, because this handle has a tendency to like kind of wiggle, and it makes those wires get loose. And he also had a wire off in his arm up here. But other than that, I mean, that's really all he needed. He did smell very heavily of smoke. It smelled pretty bad, and that's still kind of an issue. It's not nearly as bad as it was, but that'll eventually fade away. And here he is. I mean, he is in perfect working condition now, and what's amazing about this is he is running on every single original motor, and every single original 10-tooth gear is still present and unsplit, which is crazy. It's like unheard of for these, you know, Leatherfaces, because the motor's always super faulty. I mean, mine, I had to replace every single motor. And another common issue with these guys is, you know, the chain always snaps. He still has the original chain. And there's also a common board issue for not only the body movement, but also the sound. I've seen have a pretty frequent board issue, but his board is completely fine. The only thing that sucks with the sound on these guys is the audio just sucks in general, so it's not very loud at all. Zach actually has an amp right here, so it is very loud. It's going to be very loud for the video, but yeah, I do recommend using like an external speaker or something for these guys, because the speaker that's in the chainsaw just kind of, it doesn't do justice for this prop. And it's not really like the speaker, it's more of like, you know, the board is not equipped for very good quality sound. But yeah, here he is. Do you have anything to add, Zach?
Are you gonna tell him the story of the wood?
The
me coming over to move wood.
Oh yeah, so Zach, I was keeping this a surprise. Zach had no idea that I had acquired this, and so I texted Zach. I'm like, "Hey, you want to come over and help me move?" We had like a stockpile of wood in my garage for our haunt builds, and I'm like, "Hey, do you want to come over and help me move this?" And it wasn't much wood at all. It was like, I don't know, maybe like 15 sheets of like cut up plywood. And he's like, "Yeah, I can come help you." And so he showed up with his tools and stuff ready to build, uh, do the haunt build and move the wood. And I'm like, hold on, first, before we start, getting to the haunt build, there's something downstairs I have to show you. So I take him downstairs. I have a blanket up covering the box. I'm like, behind this box, or behind this blanket is something pretty cool. So I take the blanket down and the box is just sitting there. And I'm like, "Here you go, Zach. Take this box cutter and go ahead and open this box."
Yeah, I was looking at it. You were asking me, like, what is it? And it's like, when you see a Gemmy box, you know exactly what you're looking at. I'm like, this is for sure a Gemmy. So I'm like, what? I had, first of all, I had no idea what was going on. I was just like, did you get, because we both know what we're looking for when it comes to these animatronics. Derek has one coming on the way. And first of all, I thought it was like Count Vigor. I'm like, did you find me a Vigor? And Derek was just like, no. And then I'm like, well, I'm looking for both variants of Michael. I'm like, did you find a Michael? And then you were like, you got to open it. So I'm like, what is this? So I open it up and I just look in there and I just see like the plastic in there and there's blood on it. And my first thought is just like, okay, it's a Michael that somebody put blood on. I don't know. And then like I see like the collar. And like I'm looking at it and I see the collar and then it like clicked and I'm like, oh, this is paint from the factory being on the Leatherface. And I'm like, there's a Leatherface in front of me because this is like, out of all the horror characters, this is by far the holy grail of these guys. I mean, the Crypt Keeper, this is it. This is really it. So I was just like, I felt like I was like having like a daydream or something. I didn't know what was going on.
I mean, yeah, he is here, and when I first, showed this to Zach, we also found a 12-volt adapter in the box, so that was a little scary. So I like to call this guy Miracle Face because it's just crazy that it's here, it's in one piece, and it has, all the original gears and motors and everything. And I'll give you guys a close-up look. I mean, the detail that just went into this guy is
I'll put a shine on it.
pretty crazy.
Here, I'll put it.
And the apron itself is in pretty good condition for these things. I've seen aprons that are just completely cracked up, and mine's even in worse shape than this one. Yeah, and he's got the poster back here. I mean, this thing is just, it looks great here. We got a light shining down on it. And it is really just a cherry on top for Zach's horror room right here. But, yeah, I mean, another thing to mention is that he has this paint on his hand, which when I saw this in the initial photos of it, I thought, I'm like, what is going on here? For a second, I'm like, is it possible that this thing could be a sample or something? But no, this is either something that was just added in the factory for some reason, I don't know, or it was added by the original owner. Me and Zach are kind of leaning more towards it was done in the factory for some reason, because this paint matches the paint that's in his mouth right here, like exactly. And there's also paint on this hand. It's back in there and on his fingernails, and it's on his arm up here. I don't know. To me, it really doesn't look like something someone would have just... Yeah, it's in the mouth. It doesn't look like something someone would have just done out of the blue. But at the same time, it is kind of weird that it's like in the middle of his like fingers here. So it's kind of a mystery, but
yeah, paint on these things is really weird.
Yeah.
I think it was Jimmy Freak in one of his old videos. I think it had paint on the base, or Donovan. I don't really remember. There's paint on like the base. Derek says paint on the back.
Yep, mine has white paint on the jeans on the backside.
Yeah, and then also this one I mentioned, it has blood on the plastics on here. Which out of all the other horror characters, there's like, they made sure to get their budget where it was supposed to go, but this guy, they went all out.
So I guess we'll go ahead and demo him. Is he plugged in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be.
not that it really matters because like all his phrases are pretty much the same, but we'll just go ahead and activate them a couple times. So yeah, guys, there he is, and this truly is just, you know, the Jimmy horror character. Like this is by far my favorite, and I'm sure many people would agree with that. And I'm happy I was able to get one for Zach's collection here, find it somehow. I mean, did you think you would be sitting in front of a Leatherface like anytime soon?
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's really crazy that this is here right now. I'm honestly still surprised, but
yeah, if you're a collector out there, and you're just like, damn, I really want a Leatherface or something like it. They do pop like you. Derek is on it. When it comes to finding these things, you got to be very like looking like a hawk. That's like your main advantage over everyone else. That's how you're gonna get there every single time. Like Derek said, he found the tip of the chainsaw and worked out a deal through that. Like, don't try to fall for the ones like I buy stuff on eBay full price. Like I do understand, but like I've done that like once, and if you can just go out there and like find it yourself, it's a lot. It's worth it. Also, like coming with like horror characters and like Dr. Shivers, nobody knows the literal name of Dr. Shivers, so they'll say like mad scientist, and they can't really find a price on it or look it up. They don't know what Jimmy is. Then it's gonna be a lot lower. Every single horror character, they'll look up like Leatherface statue on eBay. Boom, they see it for like $1,500, and they think their bored dead Leatherface is like gonna get them the same price. So don't fall into any of those traps you see online. Like if you're a collector, you know what is a good deal and what isn't.
yeah, I mean, you know, you just look and you will find it. And you know what's even more crazy about this, we did not pay anywhere close to eBay prices for this. We got this for a hell of a good deal. Unfortunately, shipping kind of kicked us in the butt because the person really didn't know how to collapse it fully, so it kind of got sent to me like almost fully in standing position, so I had to pay like a whole bunch of extra, UPS sent me a whole bunch of extra fees I had to pay for because the box was just like oversized, and that sucked, but he is here, so that's all that matters in the end. And still, even with, you know, the extra shipping surcharges, we didn't pay anything close to like what these go for on eBay, especially in, you know, perfect condition. So yeah, here he is. I don't really have anything else to say on him. You have any final thoughts?
This is number one out of all the horror characters.
Yeah,
If you snuck this in a haunted house, we were actually talking to owners of a haunted house and showed him Leatherface, and he giggled at it. He's just like, this is child's play. But trust me, yeah, if you shoved this in the middle of a haunted house, this could definitely be a big set piece. If it's properly, like, if it's lit, like literally how it's lit right now is like, a little kid would, like, shit their pants if they saw that. If I was a little kid, I would shit my pants if I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, this thing it's very creepy looking.
Yeah, Walmart sold this, I believe, online only for a reason. They were not bringing this in stores.
Yeah, that's insane. But here he is, the Gemmy life-size Leatherface, and yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of speechless that he's here right now. It's I know, you know, a lot of people have them, but they're still kind of hard to find. I mean, like we said, if you look, you can find them. But yeah, here he is, the Gemmy life-size Leatherface from 2006. But yeah, that's just about it for now. Like I said, I'll try to insert a picture of what he looked like before, with the head being smashed and everything. And I do have a few other shorts that I shot at my house of him, you know, up next to my Leatherface. I might end up uploading those, so you can kind of see the difference between them. This one actually looks better than my Leatherface, but I'm actually like attached to my Leatherface because I drove 4 hours there and 4 hours back for it, and I did a crap ton of work to it. But yeah, here he is, and I don't really have anything else to say about him, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, and thanks for watching.